I've bought him an engagement ring. Was that a mistake? I mean, it's not a girly ring. It's a plain band with a tiny diamond in it. If Richard doesn't like the diamond, he can always turn it round. I wonder if he's bought a ring. I sip my water and smile lovingly at Richard. We're sitting at a corner table overlooking the river. All black and white marble and vintage chandeliers. The perfect place for a lunchtime proposal. I'm wearing an understated bride-to-be white shirt, a print skirt, and have splashed out on stay-up stockings, just in case we decide to cement the engagement later on. As he sees me watching him, he smiles too. So? I'm getting misty-eyed already. I've been like this for days, ever since I realised what he was driving at. First he set up this date and called it a special lunch. Then he referred to a big question he had to ask me and half winked. I almost wish he'd been more roundabout and this was going to be more of a surprise. But there again, at least I knew to get a manicure. In the 3 years Richard and I have been together, I've deliberately avoided the question of marriage, commitment, and all associated subjects. We sort of live together at his place, but I still have my own flat. We're a couple, but at Christmas we go home to our own families. We're in that place. After about a year, I knew we were good together. He's not the show-offy kind, Richard. He's measured and deliberate. Sometimes you think he's not even listening, but then he'll come to life so suddenly you realise he was alert the whole time, like a lion half asleep under the tree, but ready for the kill. Whereas I'm a bit more of a gazelle, leaping around. We complement each other. It's nature. Not in a food chain sense, obviously. I'm ready for this. I'm 33 years old, and I'm ready. I can feel the love flowing between us over the table. Lottie? Richard has noticed my damp eyes. Are you okay? What's up? Sorry. I dab at my eyes. Nothing, I just wish you didn't have to go. Richard is flying off tonight to a secondment in San Francisco. It's 3 months, but I'll miss him terribly. In fact, it's only the thought that I'll have a wedding to plan which is distracting me. Richard grins and grasps my hands more tightly. I love you. His voice is low and warm and melting. In fact, Lottie, I have something to ask you. Oh, God, he's doing it. My whole life changes here. Concentrate, Lottie. Savour the moment. Wait, what's wrong with my leg? I stare down at it in horror. Whoever made these stay-up stockings is a liar and will go to hell, because one of them has collapsed around my knee and there's a plastic strip flapping around my calf. I can't be proposed to like this. I can't spend the rest of my life looking back and thinking, it was such a romantic moment, shame about the stocking. Sorry, Richard, I cut him off. Just wait a sec. Surreptitiously, I reach down and yank the stocking up, but the flimsy fabric tears in my hand. Richard looks a little baffled as I emerge from under the table. I have to go to the ladies. I'm sorry, can we put things on pause? I bang through the door of the ladies, wrench off my shoe and stupid stocking, and stare at myself in the mirror, my heart pounding. I can't believe I've just put my proposal on pause. I pull off my other shoe and stocking, and since I'm here, reach for the hand lotion to slather on my bare legs. I don't want to look back and think, it was such a romantic moment, shame about the scaly shins. I get out my phone. I have to text my sister Fliss. I type, he's doing it. A moment later, her reply appears. Don't tell me you are texting in the middle of a proposal. In ladies, I reply, taking a moment. Sorry about that. I slide into my chair and give Richard my most loving, receptive smile. Shall we pick up where we left off? Richard smiles back, but I can tell he's lost a bit of momentum. It's such a special day, I say encouragingly. Don't you feel that? I've left my hands casually on the table and, as I intended, Richard takes them between his. He takes a deep breath and frowns. Speaking of that, Lottie, there's something I wanted to ask.
Bread for the table?
A waiter has approached. Richard rolls his eyes ruefully, and I feel a warm sense of collusion. We're in this together. Who cares when he proposes? Who cares if it's not some perfect, staged moment? Shall we get some champagne? Richard asks. Would that be a little premature, do you think? Well, that depends. He raises his eyebrows. You tell me. I pause a delicious length of time, eking it out for both of us. Yes. My answer would be yes. With all my heart, Richard, yes. For a moment, we're just silent. I can see us now in the future, painting a house, wheeling a pram, decorating a Christmas tree with our little toddlers. So much glorious life to live together. Some wine for the table, sir? Mademoiselle? The sommelier approaches and I beam up at him. I think we need some champagne. Absolument. He smiles back at me. The house champagne, or we have a very nice renard for a special occasion. I think the renard. I can't resist sharing our joy. It's a very special day. We've just got engaged. Mademoiselle! The sommelier's face creases into a smile. Félicitations! We both turn to Richard, but to my surprise he's not entering into the spirit of the moment. He's staring at me, as though I'm some sort of spectre. What? His voice is strangled. What do you mean? Richard, I'm so sorry. Did you want to tell your parents first? Tell them what? Lottie, we're not engaged. The sommelier has retreated tactfully. Lottie, I'm sorry, but I have no idea what you're talking about. I haven't mentioned marriage or engagement or anything. But that's what you meant when you ordered the champagne and you said, you tell me, and I said, with all my heart, yes. It was subtle. It was beautiful. Waves of humiliation are washing over me. You said you were organising a special lunch. It is special, he says defensively. I'm going to San Francisco tomorrow. And you said you had to ask me a big question. Not a big question, a question. What is it then, this really important medium-sized question? I was going to ask you what I should do with my air miles. Two waiters put our salads in front of us and quickly move away. So, do you ever want to get married? Maybe, eventually. Right. The thing is, Richard, I do want to get married. I want marriage, kids, a house, the whole bit. And I wanted them with you. But marriage is kind of a two-way thing. So I guess it's good that I know the truth sooner rather than later. I try to smile, but my happy muscles have stopped working. Have fun in San Francisco. I think I better go. I get back to work to find my desk littered with new post-its. Kayla, my intern, is hovering at the door of my office. I start to riffle through the papers on my desk as though searching for some vital piece of information. So, any vital messages? One from Steve about the presentation tomorrow, and some guy named Ben called. Ben who? Just Ben. He said you'd know. It'll be some cheeky student I met at a milk round talk trying to get a foot in the door. The phone rings and I pick it up. Charlotte Graveney. Lottie, it's me. Oh, hi, Fliss. So? She leaves the question dangling. So anyway, I try to sound bright and nonchalant. I was just thinking, actually, I really should get round to doing that master's on business theory. What do you think?
Oh, God, it went wrong. I don't know how, but it went wrong. Every time one of Lottie's relationships ends, she immediately talks about doing a master's degree. It's like a Pavlovian reaction. Maybe I could even go on to do a PhD, she's saying, with only the tiniest shake in her voice. Maybe do some research abroad. I thought you said he had a big question. Yes, well, he changed his story. He said it wasn't a big question. It was a question about air miles, as it happens. Ian Aylward is at my office window. He's gesticulating energetically. I know what he wants. It's the speech for the award ceremony tonight. Done, I mouth, in a blatant lie, and point at my computer, trying to imply that mere technology is holding up its arrival. Lottie, you know it's our big awards event tonight, I say. I'm going to have to go and fight. I actually see this as a positive. I really do, Fliss. This is my chance to reconfigure my life, you know? I mean, I needed this. I know how this goes. Every breakup is the same. She starts off all brave and positive until the delayed reaction happens, which it does, every time. In the form of some impulsive, totally idiotic gesture which makes her feel euphoric for about 5 minutes. A tattoo on her ankle. An extreme haircut. Membership of a cult. An intimate piercing, which went septic. I privately call these post-breakup actions her unfortunate choices, which is a phrase our mother used a lot while she was alive. It covered anything from a dodgy pair of shoes worn by a dinner party guest to my father's eventual decision to shack up with a South African beauty queen. Unfortunate choice, she would murmur with that glacial stare. When I broke up with Daniel, I swore obscenely for 2 solid weeks. It wasn't pretty, but at least I didn't join a cult. Lottie, I rub my head, you know I'm off on holiday tomorrow. Oh, yes. You'll be okay? Of course I'll be okay. I'm going to have a pizza and a nice bottle of wine tonight. Well, have a good one. Just don't drown the pain. That's another of our mother's sayings. Drowning the pain, darlings. She'd be sitting at the bar in that house we had in Hong Kong, cradling a martini while Lottie and I watched. After she'd gone out, we would intone the phrase to each other like some kind of religion. I thought it was a general toast, like down the hatch, and shocked a school friend many years later at a family lunch by raising my glass and saying, well, drown the pain, everyone. I email the speech and head to the central atrium. Caterers setting out glasses, check. Table of trophies, check. Ian from IT is crouching by the podium fiddling with the auto-reader. He jumps up. I've loaded the speech. Want a sound check? Good evening, I raise my voice. I'm Felicity Graveney, editor of Pincher Travel Review, and I would like to welcome you to our 23rd annual awards ceremony, and what a year it's been. I can see from Ian's sardonic eyebrow that I'm going to have to sound a bit more excited than that. Oh, shut up, I say, and he grins. I head out, glance at my watch, and press Daniel on speed dial as I walk. Go on, Daniel. Pick up. Where are you? You're not there, I say with elaborate calmness. That's a shame, because I have to be at this event soon, which you knew because we discussed it. My voice is shaking. I cannot allow him to get to me. Let it go, Fliss. Divorce is a process, and this is a process, and we're all part of the Tao or the Zen, whatever. The Thing and all those books I was given with the word divorce on the cover above a circle or a picture of a tree. Anyway, I take a deep breath. Maybe you can let Noah listen to this message. Thank you. Sweetheart, I hope you're having a lovely time with Daddy. I'll try calling later, but if I don't manage it, then night-night. And I love you. Night-night, answers a familiar little voice. The voice isn't coming from my phone. I hurry round the corner into my office, and there he is. My 7-year-old son. Mummy! He yells in delight. Oh, wow! I'm almost speechless. Noah, you're here at my office. Daniel? I turn to my ex-husband. What's going on? I thought Noah would be having tea by now. At your place, I add with bright emphasis. As we planned. Daniel says nothing, just shrugs easily, as though everything is obvious and words are superfluous. He wears a Kabbalah bracelet under his suit. He bounces confrontation back like he's made of rubber. I can't believe we produced Noah together. Daniel? My smile is fixed. We agreed Noah would spend tonight with you. He shrugs again. I have to go to Frankfurt tonight. I sent you an email. Daniel, my voice is trembling with the effort of not smashing his head in. Why would I have agreed to have Noah here tonight when I'm hosting an award ceremony? Why would I have done that? Daniel dumps Noah's rucksack on the floor. All right, Noah? Mummy's going to have you tonight, lucky thing. I smile at Noah, who is eyeing the two of us anxiously. What a treat for me. I ruffle his hair reassuringly. Excuse me, I'll just be a moment. I walk along the corridor to the ladies. It's empty, which is a good thing, because I cannot contain myself any longer. My voice rockets round the cubicles. He did not send me a bloody email!
I didn't sleep all night. By 1 a.m, I decided that Fliss is totally, utterly wrong. By 1:30, I'd found myself a flight to San Francisco. By 2 a.m, I'd written the perfect, loving and passionate proposal, including lines by Shakespeare, Richard Curtis, and Take That. By 3 a.m, I'd filmed myself making it. By 4 a.m, I'd watched myself and realised the horrible truth. Fliss is right. Richard will never say yes. He'll just get freaked out, especially if I make that speech. By 5 a.m, I'd eaten all the pralines and cream. By 6 a.m, I'd eaten all the fish food. And now I'm slumped on a plastic chair, feeling nauseous and regretting the lot of it. I take a sip of coffee, trying to soothe my nerves. Let's say I'm being as calm and logical as one could expect in the circumstances, which are that I had to catch the 7:09 to Birmingham on no sleep and all the metros had already gone. And I'm about to give a recruitment talk to 100 students in an auditorium which smells of cauliflower cheese. I'm with my colleague Steve, and he's sitting hunched over his coffee, looking about as perky as I feel. The careers officer appears round the door. We haven't been to this particular college before, so I've never met Deborah. Quite frankly, she's weird. I've never met anyone so tense and jumpy. All okay? We'll start in about 10 minutes. Keep it quite brief, I would. She's nodding nervously. Quite brief, nice and brief. I lean back in my chair, trying to relax. There's a book lying on a nearby chair, and I reach for it. It's called The Reverse Principle. Change your business strategy forever. I feel a stab of frustration at myself. Why don't I read more business books? Maybe I should read all of these books and become an expert. Maybe I should go to Harvard Business School. As I stride onto the little stage and see our audience, I can't help doing a double take. Recruiting for a science company, you get used to students who shamble in, hair unwashed, unshaven, with bags under their eyes. But this lot are stunning. There's a whole cluster of immaculate girls at the front. Behind them is a group of super fit guys, their t-shirts bulging with muscles. What kind of labs do they have here? Ones with running machines. Welcome, everyone. I head to the front of the stage. My name is Lottie Graveney, and I'm here to talk to you about choosing a career at Blay Pharmaceuticals. Onto the screen comes a picture of a complicated molecule. You'll all be familiar with ammonium polyhydrogen fluorides. Steve gestures at the screen with a pointer, then stops. Before I continue, it would be useful to know what you're studying. He looks around. There'll be biochemists here, obviously. It doesn't matter what they study. Deborah cuts him off sharply. It's just a useful guide, explains Steve. If all the biochemists could raise their hands. Deborah is ashen. Could we have a word? She says, and beckons us desperately to one side. I'm afraid, her voice trembles. There was an error. I sent the email to the wrong set of students. We're very open-minded, I say reassuringly. We also recruit graduates in physics, biology, business studies. What are these students studying? Deborah is furiously chewing her lips. Beauty, she mutters at last. And some are dancers. I got up at 6 a.m. to be here. I've come all the way from London. I'm not just turning round and going home. OK. I take the remote from Deborah and walk centre stage. Let's start again. I don't work in the beauty industry or the dance industry, but I do employ people. Do you have any questions? A pale girl with pink streaky hair stands up. She's talking about the cost of shellac and how difficult it is to make the margins work if you want to open your own salon. I'm listening, but my attention keeps being drawn to another girl sitting in the second row. She gives a massive sob. Hi, I say, gently waving to attract her attention. Excuse me, are you okay? Cindy's had a break-up. Her friend puts a protective arm around her. Can she be excused? Of course, I say, absolutely. We were together for 2 years. The pale girl gives another sob. I did half his coursework for him, and I was all like, I need to focus on my career. I thought he wanted to be with me. She dissolves into prolonged weeping, and I stare at her. I know her pain. I know it. I'm feeling a gathering urge to speak off topic. I feel noble and inspirational, like Helen Mirren or Michelle Obama. Let me say one thing to you, I begin. Woman to woman, professional to professional. My eyes fix on her intently. Don't let a breakup ruin your life. You're strong. You're independent. You have your own life, and you don't need him. Okay? I wait until she whispers. Okay. We've all had breakups. I raise my voice to take in the whole room. The answer isn't to cry. The answer isn't to eat chocolate or plot revenge. You need to move on. I can feel my all-purpose motivational speech coming on. I was lost, exactly like you feel now. But then I went on my gap year and my whole life changed. I take a few steps forward and look directly at Cindy. What happened? She's agog, and so are all the others. I can even see someone switching off their iPod. I was staying at a guest house on Mykonos. It's a Greek island. It was packed full of gap year travellers, and I was there all summer. Every time I tell this story, it brings back the same memories. Waking every morning to the Greek sun dazzling my eyelids, the feel of seawater on sunburned skin. One night there was a fire. The guest house was packed with people. Everyone came out onto the upstairs veranda, but no one could get down. Everyone was screaming. There weren't even any fire extinguishers. I had a vantage point. I was up in the treehouse. I could see where people should be heading. You could jump off the side of the veranda onto the top of a nearby goat shed. Only no one had realised. Everyone was panicking. So I took charge. I started directing people. I had to yell to be heard and wave my arms and jump up and down like a mad thing. But finally someone noticed me. And then they all listened. They followed my instructions. They all jumped off the veranda onto the shed one by one, and they were all okay. It was the first time in my life that I realised I could be a leader. I could make a difference. The room is absolutely still. From that moment on, I had the confidence to go for whatever I wanted. I changed course, changed all my ideas. That was when I became the person I am. And you'll all have your defining moments, I know you will. There's silence in the room. Then a blonde girl in the front row stands up. You're the best careers advisor we've ever had, isn't she? To my astonishment, she leads a round of applause. A couple of girls even cheer. Can we say thank you properly? She approaches the platform, brandishing a massive black roll of brushes at me. I'm Jo. Fancy a makeover? I'm sitting in a chair with my eyes closed as my face is brushed and penciled by my new best friend Jo and her fellow students. I'm in a trance. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be fine. I just need to take my own advice, find a new mission, something to focus on. Maybe I'll redecorate my flat, or maybe I should travel. Why have I not travelled more? My thoughts keep drifting back to Mykonos. I was so young. I was so thin. I lived in cut-off shorts and a string bikini top. And of course there was Ben, my first proper boyfriend. Dark hair and crinkly blue eyes, and the smell of sweat and salt and Aramis. Wait a minute. Ben, I rummage for my phone and press Kayla's speed dial. "Lottie, hi," comes Kayla's voice. "Everything okay?" "Hey, Kayla, I just wanted the number of that guy, Ben." I try to sound relaxed. "The one who called yesterday while I was out, remember?" "Oh, yeah, hold on. Here we are." She dictates a mobile number. I punch in the number, close my eyes tight, and wait. "Benedict Parr?" There's a pause. "Hello? It's Benedict Parr here." I can't talk. My stomach's doing a little dance. It's him.
You spell my natural emotions. It makes me feel like dirt, and I'm hurt.
The first thing to say is that I look fabulous. The second thing is I am not going to sleep with him, even though I've been thinking about it all day. We're meeting at a new fish restaurant in Clerkenwell. I'm greeted by a warm, inviting smell of garlic and seafood. "Oh, I'm here to meet a friend. He reserved a table. Benedict Parr?" The maitre d' leads me a winding route through the restaurant. Here he is, rising from his chair. Stay cool. Smile. My eyes are running over him, registering details at top speed, as though I'm in the Assess Your Ex Olympics. He's taller than I remember. Thinner. There's a hole in his ear where his earring used to be. He's gorgeous, just like he always was, but better. He leans in for a kiss, a grown-up, civilised double kiss. "Lottie, you look incredible. You haven't aged a day." "Same goes." He gestures charmingly at my chair and I sit down. "How have the last 15 years been?" "Fine, thanks," I laugh. "You?" "Can't complain." He meets my eye with the same mischievous grin he always had. "Okay, that's the catch-up done. You want a drink?" 2 hours later, I'm buzzing all over. I feel like a sportsman in the zone. I feel like a convert who's found religion. This is it. Ben and I are amazing together. Ben has drunk quite a lot more than I have. He also remembers much more than I do about our time in Greece. I'd forgotten about the poker tournament. I'd forgotten about the night we played table tennis with those 2 Australian guys. But the moment Ben reminds me, there it all is in my head again, in a vivid flash. "Do you remember the cove?" he asks. The cove. The secret cove was where we first got it together. I look at him now across the table. He's back there. He looks as intoxicated as I feel. "The way you nursed me through the flu," he says slowly. "I've never forgotten that." The flu? I don't remember nursing him through the flu. But then my memories are so fuzzy. I nod. "You cradled my head. You sang me to sleep. I was delirious, but I could hear your voice getting me through the night." He takes another swig of wine. "Why didn't we stay together, Lottie? Why didn't we keep in touch?" He was going to Edinburgh University. I was going to Bath. It was only a matter of time before it ended. Ben bangs the table with his fist. "Maybe we got our priorities screwed up. Maybe we should have said, sod university, we're staying together. We might be married by now. We might have kids." "Do you want kids?" I say before I can stop myself. "Yes, I want kids. I'm ready for a family. Prams, going to the park, all that." I feel tears spring to my eyes. "Remember the pact?" "Bit late," I say. "We said if we were unmarried at 30. I'm 33. His foot has found mine under the table and he's edging off my shoe. "My flat's nearby," he murmurs. I know where we're heading. "I've been here before. I know what happens. You kiss my fingers, I kiss your fingers. We have sex, great. We have more sex. We're besotted. We go on a mini break to the Cotswolds. Maybe we buy a sofa together or a bookshelf from IKEA. And then suddenly it's 2 years later and we should be getting married. But somehow we don't. We've gone off the boil. We argue and we break up. and it's horrible. My throat is tight with misery at our fate. It's so inevitable, and it's so sad. Ben looks bewildered by the scenario I've painted. "Okay," he says at last, eyeing me warily. "Well, what if we don't go off the boil?" "We do! It's the law. It always happens." "Even if we don't buy a bookshelf from IKEA?" I know he's trying to be funny, but I'm serious. I've spent 15 years of my life dating. Dating is not the solution to anything. Dating is the problem. Ben thrusts his fingers through his hair, looking exasperated. "Okay, you win. We'll do it the old-fashioned way. Lottie, will you marry me?" Funny. I take a slug of wine. "I mean it. Will you marry me?" "Stop it." To my utter shock, Ben gets out of his seat, kneels down and clasps his hands. I can see other diners turning to watch. "Charlotte Graveney," he begins, swaying slightly. "I've spent 15 years chasing pale imitations of you, and now I'm back here with the original I should never have let go. Will you do me the honour of marrying me, please?" "But I don't know you anymore." I give a half laugh. "I don't know what you do for a living. I don't know where you live. I don't know what you want in life." "Paper supply, Shoreditch, to make babies who have your eyes. Lottie, I know it's been years, but it's still me. It's still Ben." I stare at him, breathing hard, my head ringing. "All you need to do is say yes." He wants to make babies who have my eyes. "No sex," I say firmly, "till we're married." His face has completely dropped. Why? Because I want things to be different. I want to break the mould. I love you, yes, you love me. For 15 years I've loved you. I can tell he's going to start another drunken speech. So, I cut him off, we wait a bit longer, and then we can have a proper wedding night. I reach under the table with my bare foot and slowly walk it up the inside of his leg. For a moment, neither of us talks. "Actually," he says at last, "that could be fun. A lot of fun." "Wedding night, huh?" "Wedding night," I nod. I know I'm drunk. I know this is rushed. But it feels so right. "When shall we get married?" I murmur. "Soon," Ben says. "Really, really soon."
I hope Lottie's okay, I really do. I've been away for 2 weeks and I haven't heard one word from her. I reach for the phone and call her office number. "Oh, hi, Dolly, is Lottie about?" "She's out, shopping, buying stuff for her honeymoon." Did I hear that right? I swallow. "Dolly, is Lottie getting married?" "Didn't you know?" My gloomy mood has vanished. I want to dance. Lottie's engaged. I dial her mobile. "Lottie!" I erupt with excitement. "Congratulations! Details!" "Well, he just contacted me out of the blue." Lottie gives an exhilarated laugh. "I couldn't believe it. I thought I'd never see him again, let alone this." He must have landed at San Francisco and turned right around. Oh, good work, Richard. And what did he say? Did he get down on one knee? "Yes. He said he'd always love me and he wanted to be with me, and I said yes." "Oh, so what else? Did you give him the ring?" "Well, no." Lottie sounds drawn up short. "Of course not. I mean, the ring was for Richard." Her voice rises. "I'm trying to start afresh here. I'm trying to embark on a whole new life with Ben." I'm completely confused. I think I'm going mad. Who's Ben? And what does he have to do with this? Look, Lottie, don't get upset, but I really don't understand. "Oh, sorry. Of course, you don't know. I'm not marrying Richard. I'm marrying Ben. Remember Ben?" "No." "Oh, that's right. You never met him. Well, he was my gap year boyfriend in Greece, and he's come back into my life, and we're getting married." "Is this a visa thing?" "No, it's not a visa thing." She sounds indignant. It's love! I feel as though the ceiling has caved in. She was marrying Richard. It all made sense. Now she's running off with some guy called Ben. Oh, I don't even know where to start. So, when were you planning to get married? Tomorrow, she says happily. We wanted to do it as soon as possible. Can you take the day off? Lots, stay where you are. I can hardly get the words out. I'll come and meet you. I think we should have a talk. By the time I get to Selfridge's, my heart is thumping and I have a head full of questions. Lottie, on the other hand, has a basket full of underwear. So, as bright as I can, you're getting married to someone I've never met. You'll meet him at the wedding. Oh, you'll love him, Fliss. And Ben just contacted you out of the blue. He got in touch and we had dinner, and it was as though we'd never been apart. He'd been in love with me for 15 years, and I'd been in love with him too. You've been in love with him for the last 15 years. Funny that you never mentioned him. At all. I loved him inside. She clasps a hand to her side. Here. Maybe I didn't tell you about it. Maybe I don't tell you everything. Look, Lottie, I try a different tack. I do understand. I know what it's like. You're hurt, you're confused. An old boyfriend comes along out of the blue, and of course you're going to fall into bed with him. But why do you have to get married? You're wrong, she retorts with a triumphant look. I didn't fall into bed with him, and I'm not going to. I'm saving myself for the honeymoon. You're saving yourself? But why? Is he Amish? I suddenly fear the worst. Is he from some kind of cult? Did he promise you enlightenment? It's our wedding night. It should be special. We can hardly keep our hands off each other. It's like we're 18 again. I stare at her, all the pieces falling into place. Her shiny eyes make sense. Have you got a photo of him? Not on me, but he's gorgeous. I want you to give a speech, by the way, she adds blithely. Your chief bridesmaid / best woman, and Ben's best man is his friend Lorcan. It'll be just the four of us at the ceremony. I head back to work, and before I've even got to the lifts, I'm on Google, typing Ben Parr. I find an entry which mentions a Ben Parr in a news item about a posh paper company called Dupré Sanders. He has some made-up title, like Strategic Overview Consultant. I type in Lorcan Dupré Sanders. A moment later, a page pops up with a photo of a man. Dark hair, black eyebrows and a frown, strong, slightly beaky nose. Underneath the picture, it says Lorcan Adamson and gives his office number. I dial the number. Lorcan Adamson. Hi, I think we need to speak. My name is Felicity Graveney. My sister is called Lottie. Ah, there's a sudden animation to his voice. Ben just called me. I have no idea how your sister talked Ben into this ridiculous plan, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to do everything I can to stop it, whether you and your sister like it or not. Mr. Adamson, I say in my iciest tones, your precious friend talked my sister into a ridiculous rushed marriage, not the other way round. I'll talk to Lottie, I'll fix it. Right, says Lorcan. I end the call and dial Lottie's mobile. No more Mrs. Nice Sister. I am stopping this marriage right here, right now. I can't believe she's ignored me for a full 24 hours. She's got some nerve. It's the following afternoon, and the wedding is due to start in an hour's time, and I still haven't spoken to Lottie. But at the same time, she's managed to leave a whole series of messages on my phone about the registry office and the restaurant and meeting for pre-wedding drinks at Bluebird. As I arrive at Bluebird, I can see her already sitting at the bar in a cream-laced mini-dress, with roses in her hair. She looks radiantly beautiful, and for a moment I feel bad, coming in to derail her. But no, she won't be looking so radiant when she's being billed for her decree nisi. As I reach Lottie, I give her a huge hug. How exciting. What a happy day. Lottie scans my face without replying, which proves I'm right. She's on the defensive. So any honeymoon plans? I say casually. We're going back to Iconos, back to where we met. Isn't it perfect? To a backpacker's guest house? I stare at her. No, silly, to that amazing hotel, the Amber, the one with the waterfall. Didn't you review it? Oh, damn. The Amber is pretty untrumpable. I sip my champagne, thinking hard. So, will there be any hymns at the wedding? I ask at last. There's quite a long silence. We're not allowed hymns, she says, eventually, and looks down into her drink. Oh, no hymns? I raise a hand to my mouth in horror, as though I hadn't known this all along. But how can you have a wedding without hymns? What about I vowed to thee my country? You were always going to have that at your wedding. Lottie was in the choir at our school. She sung solos. Music was a big deal to her. Well, it's not important. She smiles briefly, but her whole demeanour has changed. What does Ben think? Ben's not really into hymns, she says after a pause. I vow to thee my country. I start singing very quietly. All earthly things above. Anyway, I break off from singing. I always imagined you kneeling at the altar in a country church with the organ playing. I muse, rubbing it in. Not at a registry office. It's funny that. I lapse into silence and sip my champagne, waiting. I can see Lottie's eyes flickering with thoughts. She looks as if she's coming to a decision. Fliss? She looks up. Fliss. My work is done. I'm waiting to cross King's Road, mentally congratulating myself for being so brilliant, when I see a face I recognise. Beaky nose, windswept dark hair. He's about 10 feet tall and is striding along the pavement on the other side. As he's walking, his rose suddenly falls out and he stops to pick it up. Hi! I wave frantically as he moves off. Lorcan! Stop! I approach him, brandishing my bouquet. I'm Fliss, Graveney. We spoke yesterday. Lottie's sister? Ah. His face clears briefly, and then it's back to the cheery wedding day scowl. I suppose you're heading there now. Well, actually, I can't help sounding complacent. I'm not heading there, because it's off. He stares at me in shock. What do you mean? Lottie's gone to postpone the wedding. Why? I talked her out of it, I say proudly. I know my sister, and I know the power of suggestion. After our little chat, she wants a romantic wedding in a small stone church in the country. Oh, well, thank God for that, Lorcan breathes out and runs a hand through his hair. He glances at his watch. So, what should I do? This is weird, standing on a street corner, all dressed up with no wedding to go to. Do you feel like a drink? Says Lorcan abruptly. He's already ushering me down a side street towards a bar with a striped canopy and French-looking tables and chairs. You want a glass of wine? I want a large gin and tonic. You earned it. He gives me a flicker of a smile. I'll join you. So, I ask, who is this Ben? Fill me in. Ben. Oh, Ben. He's bright, inventive. He's in a difficult place. His father died, the company has an uncertain future, and he needs to decide which direction it's going in. It's difficult for him. He's having a bit of an early midlife crisis, I guess. Not husband material, then, I say, and Lorcan snorts. Maybe one day. Last month he was buying a cabin in Montana, and, well, then he was going to buy a boat, sail in races, and before that he was all about investing in vintage motorbikes. Next week it'll be some other craze. My guess is he won't stay married 5 minutes, and I'm afraid your sister will be the casualty. The drinks arrive, and Lorcan raises his glass. To cancelled marriages. Cancelled marriages! Lorcan continues. When Ben's on form, believe me, there's no one you'd rather spend the evening with. He's charming, he's funny. I can understand why your sister would have fallen for him. Did you hear about Lottie and Ben's no-sex policy, I say? How ridiculous is that? Yeah, Ben mentioned something. I thought he was joking. It's no joke. They're waiting till the wedding night. I shake my head. If you want my opinion, they should just go to bed, have a good time, and then see if they still want to marry each other. I take a massive gulp of my drink. I mean, you don't need to sign your life away just to have sex. I break off as a thought suddenly occurs to me. Are you married? Divorced. Oh, me too. Divorced. So, we know. About what? Sex. I realise that came out wrong. Marriage, I amend. How have you found it? Your divorce. Total nightmare. I open my mouth and draw in a deep, long breath. Then I stop. Not bitter, Fliss. Not bitter. Oh, you know. I give him a saccharine smile. These things happen. I like to be zen about it. My fake smile is nearly killing me. I'm desperate to splurge out all the details and talk incessantly about it until I hear from him what I need to hear, i.e. that I'm in the right about everything and Daniel is in the wrong. Another gin, I ask. I'll get them. He leans back, tilting his chair to signal at the waiter, and I find my eyes running over his long, lean body. As Lorcan lets the chair rest back on the ground, he looks at me, and his eyelids flicker. He's thinking something too. So, I break the silence. So, Lorcan nods, and then adds casually, would you like to go on somewhere? My stomach lurches. That would be great, yeah. I force myself to sound low-key and chilled. What kind of place? He frowns deeply, attacking his ice cubes with his stirrer. We could eat, he says, finally, with no enthusiasm. Sushi, maybe, or we could not eat. I don't need to get back. Noah's got a sleepover tonight. I'm half awake. My head hurts. Remembered sensations are crowding out my brain in a blur. And sudden flashes, intense, astonishing memories like squeezes of lemon. I'm lying, one leg thrown over the duvet, not quite daring to open my eyes. Morning. The sound of his rumbly voice finally brings me into reality. He's here, in the room. Oh, hello. Pulling the duvet around me, I sit up, trying to smile, although my face feels creaky. Lorcan is fully dressed in a suit and tie. Coffee? I'd love a coffee, and a shower. I gather up the duvet and try to wrap it around myself elegantly, but it's so heavy, it's like trying to wear a polar bear. Dressing gown? He holds out a rather swanky paisley number. Thanks. He averts his eyes politely and I slip into it. I'm sensing you're a coffee snob. Well, kind of, but don't worry. I'll go out for it. He disappears, and I start to look around for my handbag. As my gaze rakes around the room, I find myself wondering if I like him, whether I might see him again, whether this might even become a thing. I can see a fencing mask hanging on a hook. Gingerly, I take the thing off its hook and put it on. There's a mirror hung on the wall and I head over to it. I do a kung fu action at myself, and the paisley dressing gown flaps round my ankles. Now I've got the giggles, and suddenly I want to share this ridiculous moment with Lottie. I pull out my phone. Hi, Fliss, she answers at once. OK, I'm on the bride's website. Veil or no veil? I think veil. I blink at the phone, wanting to laugh. She's become a bridezilla. Veil. So you called off the wedding OK? Ben didn't mind? Oh, Ben just wants me to be happy. You know what? I'm so glad we talked, Fliss. The wedding's going to be so much nicer. And the plus is, you and Ben can meet each other first. Just tell me where and when. I met his friend Lorcan last night. Guess where I am right now? In Lorcan's flat. Huh? We hooked up. We ran into each other near the registry office and we had a few drinks and well, one thing led to another. No way! Lottie's voice fizzes over. Oh, that's perfect. We can have a double wedding. That's just what I was thinking too. Can we ride up the aisle on matching ponies? Did you have a good time? Do you like him? Is he hot? Yes, yes, and yes. Well then. Hey, I'm looking at this wedding website. Shall we have a profiterole cake, or what about a pyramid of cupcakes? That's what they had at Aunt Diana's wedding. How big was that? Seriously small. The whole night, such an ordeal. I had to pretend I was having a good time, and all along, I still remember the too tight bridesmaid's dress they made me wear. But the ceremony was nice, wasn't it? No, terrible, and afterwards wasn't much better. Oh, you can get profiteroles with sparkly icing. Shall I send you the link? Oh, I feel ill at the very thought, I say firmly. In fact, I might throw up, and then Lorcan will never love me, and we'll never get married in a double wedding on matching ponies. A sound makes me turn. Lorcan standing there, about 10 foot high in the doorway. How long has he been there? Oh, what did he hear me say? Gotta go, lots. I quickly turn off my phone. Just, talking to my sister, I add, as casually as I can. Just joking about things, like you do. Suddenly, I remember I'm wearing his fencing helmet. My stomach clenches with fresh embarrassment. I lift it off my head. I didn't know if you wanted it black or not, he says, after what seems like an eternity. Oh, the coffee! My own voice suddenly runs through my head. The whole night was such an ordeal. I had to pretend I was having a good time, and all along, he didn't hear that, surely. He didn't think I was talking about... My stomach drops in horror. Should I apologise? No. But shouldn't I at least explain? I raise my eyes warily to his. His face is blank. Exit, Fliss. Now. It's 2 p.m. and I'm back at the office. I haven't heard anything from Lottie about this evening. I call her mobile. Hi, Lottie. I kick off my shoes. So you on for drinks later? Do I get to meet Ben? There's silence on the other end. Lottie, are you there? Guess what? Lottie's voice throbs importantly. We've done it! Ben and I are married!
You spell my natural emotions. It makes me feel like the hurt, and I'm hurt.
Guess what? Lottie's voice throbs importantly. We've done it! Ben and I are married! Just now, Chelsea Registry Office. I clench the plastic bottle so hard, a stream of water soars into the air and lands in splotches all over my desk. Aren't you going to say congratulations? She adds, a bit petulantly. I can't say congratulations because I can't say anything. How did this happen? It was Lorcan. What? What do you mean it was Lorcan? Lorcan came to see Ben this morning. He told him he mustn't marry me, and it was all a huge mistake. Ben went nuts. He came storming round to my office and said he wanted to be married to me now. That idiot. That stupid, arrogant... I'd solved the problem. It was all sorted. Where are you now? Packing. We're off to Iconos. Oh, it's so exciting. I'll bet it is, I say feebly. What do I do? Oh, there's nothing I can do. They're married. It's done. Maybe we'll have a honeymoon baby, she adds coyly. How do you feel about being an aunt? What? I sit bolt upright. Lottie, Fliss, I've got to go. The taxi's here. Love you lots. She rings off. Frantically, I speed dial her again, but it goes to voicemail. Baby. Oh, baby? I want to whimper. I Google the Amber Hotel. At once, a series of holiday porn images greets my eyes. The famous grotto swimming pool with its 30-foot tumbling waterfall. Beautiful couples strolling by the sea. I'm sitting utterly still. My mind skittering back and forth like a mouse trapped in a maze. I'm trying to find a way out. I keep coming up against dead ends. I take a deep breath. I've come to a decision. It's huge and extreme, but I have no choice. I'm going to gatecrash her honeymoon. I pick up the phone and dial travel. Hi, I say. Bit of an emergency, Clarissa. I need to get out to Iconos ASAP. The Greek island. First available flight. And I need to stay in the Amber. They know me there. I ring off and drum my fingers. Even at my quickest, I won't get out there for a good 24 hours. Lottie's already on her way to the airport. She'll be on the afternoon flight. Oh, the oyster suite will be there, waiting with its Super King bed and sunken jacuzzi and champagne. If only I could stop them. If only I could get in there before they... What's the word? Consummate it. Consummate. The word provokes a vague memory. What was it? I blinked, trying to recall. Oh, yes, my divorce lawyer, Barnaby, telling me about annulments. I can hear his voice. It means the contract is null and void. The marriage never existed. This is it. This is the answer. Annulment. Oh, the loveliest word in the English language. The solution to everything. No divorce, no legal tussle, just blink and it's over. And then a new idea zings across my brain. My fingers are actually trembling as I pick up the phone. Amber Hotel, VIP services, how may I help you? Hi, I say, my voice a bit jumpy. Could I please speak to Nico Dimitriou? Tell him it's Fliss Graveney from Pincher Travel Review. Fliss! His voice booms happily down the phone. I have heard this very minute that you are planning to pay us a visit. Yes, I'll arrive tomorrow night, I hope. We are honoured to see you again so soon. Can I assist you with anything in particular? I pause, marshalling my words. Nico, I have a favour to ask. My sister is heading out to the Amber today. She's just got married. She's on honeymoon. Wonderful! His voice almost blasts me away. Your sister will have the holiday of her lifetime. Perhaps an upgrade. Perhaps a special dinner. Nico, no. You don't understand. I mean, that sounds wonderful, but I have a different favour to ask you. I twist my fingers together. I want you to stop them having sex.
I'm married. My mouth is fixed in a permanent, gleeful smile. Today has been the best, most magical, most extraordinary day of my life. I still keep replaying the moment when I looked up from my desk to see Ben marching into the office, holding a bouquet of roses. His jaw was set and his eyes were flashing. Even my boss Martin came out of his office to watch. The whole place was hushed as Ben stood at my office door and proclaimed, "I'm going to marry you, Lottie Graveney, and I'm going to do it today." Then he lifted me up and everyone cheered, and Kayla came running after me with my bag and phone, and Ben handed me the bouquet. And that was it. I was a bride. I barely remember the marriage ceremony. I was in a state of shock. He'd brought along some environmental confetti which we sprinkled on ourselves, and he opened a bottle of champagne, and then it was time to leave for the airport. I'm still in my work suit. I got married in my work suit, and I don't care.
Mrs. Phipps? Mrs. Hocking puts her head round the door of the classroom. You wanted to see me? Oh, hello. I smile as confidently as I can. Yes, just a small matter. I'm going to have to take Noah out of school for a few days, to a Greek island. It will be very educational. Really? When were you planning to go? Tomorrow. Tomorrow? Well, I'm afraid it's an emergency, a family crisis. Mrs. Hocking clearly doesn't want to give way. I know things have been... She clears her throat. Difficult for you, what with your job and everything. We're both staring at the ceiling as though to expunge the memory of that time Daniel had just brought in his new set of big gun lawyers, and I burst into tears at pick-up time and practically sobbed on her shoulder. Well, she sighs. Very well. I'll tell the head. Thank you, I say humbly. Noah's having his extra lesson at the moment, but if you come in, I'll give you his bag. I follow her into the empty classroom, which smells of wood and paint and Play-Doh. The assistant teacher, Ellen, is tidying, and she beams up at me. Mrs. Phipps is taking Noah on an educational trip to a Greek island, said Mrs. Hocking in deadpan tones, which clearly mean, this irresponsible parent is going on a drugs and booze mini-break and dragging her poor son along to get high on the fumes. What can I do? Lovely, Ellen says. But what about your new puppy? My what? Noah was telling us about your new puppy, the Cocker Spaniel. Cocker Spaniel? I laugh. We don't have a puppy. Mrs. Hocking and Ellen are exchanging looks. What is it? Mrs. Hocking sighs. We did wonder. Tell me, has Noah's grandfather died recently? No. I stare at her. And he didn't have an operation on his hand during the holidays at Great Ormond Street? No. I look from face to face. Is that what he's been saying? Please don't worry, says Mrs. Hocking hurriedly. We noticed last term that Noah seemed to have quite an imagination. He said he'd had a heart transplant. Obviously, we knew that wasn't the case. Right, I say. Well, I'll have a word with him. He even said you once threw all your husband's clothes onto the street and invited neighbours to help themselves, says Ellen, with a bright laugh. Damn, I thought he was asleep when I did that. My face is still hot as I arrive at the Special Educational Needs Department. Noah has extra after-school lessons every Wednesday because his handwriting is terrible. There's a waiting area outside the door and I sit down on the miniature sofa. On the wall, a TV is softly burbling away with some special kids' programme. They could do with a department like this at the office, I find myself thinking. I wouldn't mind escaping for half an hour a week to play with beanbags and point to the flashcard reading, "Today I'm sad because my boss is a git." "I've had an operation at Great Ormond Street." A voice from the TV attracts my attention. "My hand was sore afterwards and I couldn't write any more." I look up to see a small Asian girl talking to the camera. But Marie helped me learn to write again. Music starts playing. Next up is Romy, who has had a cochlear implant, and then David with his new heart. "Now I can run and play," David is saying joyfully to the camera. "I can play with Lucy, my new puppy." Lucy is a cocker spaniel. The door suddenly opens and Noah is ushered out by Mrs. Gregory. "Ah, Mrs. Phipps," she says as she does every week. "Noah's making very good progress." "Great," I smile pleasantly back. "Noah, sweetheart, put on your coat." Some children think they're Harry Potter. Trust mine to think he's the star of a self-help DVD. As I walk out with Noah, I squeeze his hand. My phone bleeps. It's a text from Lottie. "We're boarding. What do you think of the Mile High Club? Could call baby Miles." Swiftly I text back, "Don't be gross. Have a good one." I glance at my watch and feel a renewed frustration at the totally rubbish travel options. 1 direct flight to Iconos a day? It's insane. I want to be there now. But since I can't, I'm going to do a bit of research. I find it exactly where I expected to. In the box under her bed, stacked with all the others. I've never read Lottie's diaries before. I'm a moral person. Also, I can't be bothered. But I have to know a little about this Ben guy. And this is the only source I can think of. Noah is safely watching Ben 10 in the kitchen. I sit down on Lottie's bed. Right, let's dive in. Quick. As I turn the pages, skimming the text, I almost feel like I'm on her gap year journey with her. Think I might move to Paris when I'm older. Ate too many croissants. Amazing sunset. Drank too many rum and cokes. Slept with this guy called Pete. Shouldn't have. Leaving for Greece tomorrow. I could live on feta. This guy called Ben. Picnic with some of the guys and Ben. Slept with Ben. "Lottie!" A male voice interrupts my concentration, and I start so violently the diary flies up into the air. "Richard!" He's standing in the doorway, in a raincoat, his hair dishevelled and a suitcase in his hand. His face is agitated, and he's definitely looking more young Gordon Brown than young Pierce Brosnan. "Where's Lottie?" he demands. "Richard, what are you doing here?" I made a mistake. A bad mistake.
"The Amber Hotel," the driver announces with a proud flourish and leaps out to open our doors. As I get out of the car, the warm Greek air seems to bathe my shoulders. I look around, taking in a huge white-pillared entrance, 4 marble lions, and a series of fountains crashing into an ornamental pond. Bougainvillea is falling in vivid pink cascades from balconies to left and right. I can hear the chirp of evening crickets, as well as the distant strains of a string quartet. "Mr. and Mrs. Parr!" I look up to see a short, dark man in a suit approaching us swiftly down the steps. As he gets nearer, I see a badge that reads Nico Dimitriou, VIP Manager. "Welcome to the Amber Hotel." He's ushering us through the large glass doors. "Many congratulations. Please, sit. A glass of champagne for you both?" "That's very kind," Ben says, "but we'd like to get to our suite as quickly as possible." Of course, Nico twinkles understandingly. "I will escort you personally. Come this way to your private penthouse lift." The lift doors ping open. The oyster suite. Wow, I breathe as Nico swings open the doors. The whole suite is designed like a grotto, with Greek pillars and low daybeds and statues of Greek gods on pedestals. The only immediate downside is that the TV is blaring out Teletubbies. I've loathed Teletubbies ever since I had to watch about 20 episodes while babysitting Noah. Can we turn that off, please? Of course, madame. Let me first show you the amenities. Here we have the bathroom with a walk-in rain shower. Here is your private spa room, sitting room with cinema screen. And through here is the bedroom. Nico swings open a door. The room is large and grand, with a domed glass ceiling, and under the dome are 2 single beds. Beds! I turn to Ben and point. The beds! Yes, these are the beds, madame. I know those are the beds, I'm gulping for air, but why are they singles? Nico looks baffled at the question. We offer many different sleeping options for the suite. The previous occupants of the suite must have ordered 2 beds. They are 2 very fine beds. He slaps one. Is this not satisfactory? Ben's breathing hard. What kind of honeymoon suite has 2 single beds in it? Please, sir, do not alarm yourself, says Nico soothingly. I will order a double bed immediately. He takes out his phone and launches into a stream of Greek. He switches off and beams again. The matter is in hand. While we are sorting out this problem, may I offer you a complimentary cocktail downstairs at the bar?
I almost can't look at the texts. It's like rubbernecking a car crash. Nico's been keeping me updated all evening with every development. His latest 4 texts have been reports on all the complimentary cocktails that Lottie and Ben have consumed. It's an eye-watering amount. I wheel my suitcase out to the hall and put it next to Noah's. He's asleep in his room, clasping Monkey and breathing peacefully. I head into the bathroom and run a bath. My phone rings. The display reads Lottie. Lottie! You're supposed to be on honeymoon! I aim for a bright, innocent tone. What are you doing, ringing me? Fliss! She's drunk, but she's tearful too. What's up? I say lightly. Fliss, I don't know what to do, she wails. Ben's totally drunk, like almost passed out. What do I do? Oh gosh, I say sympathetically. Poor you. Maybe some coffee? He can't even sit up. He drank all these stupid cocktails and I had to help him up to our room and then he just crashed out on the bed and it's supposed to be our wedding night. I try to sound shocked. So you haven't even... No, we haven't, Lottie wails in distress.
I don't want to be negative, but if I could describe how I expected the morning after my wedding night to be, it would not be this. I always imagined my new husband and me nestled in a huge white cottony bed, birds singing outside, sunlight gently passing over our faces as we turn to each other and kiss. Not waking up on a single bed with a cricked neck, unbrushed teeth, the smell of last night's room service pizza and the sound of Ben groaning on the opposite bed. Are you okay? I try to sound sympathetic, even though I want to kick him. I think so. He lifts his head with what appears to be a huge effort. I messed up, didn't I? I'm really sorry. He swings his legs round and gets to his feet. Mrs. Parr, my greatest, humblest apologies. Any room in that bed? Madame? The grave voice of our butler, Yorgo, hits my ear. I sit bolt upright, clasping the duvet round me. The butler's in the suite? Good morning, I call in a strangled voice. Is Madame ready for breakfast? Didn't you put on the do not disturb sign? Ben whispers. I thought I did. Good morning. Yorgo appears at the door to the bedroom. I have taken the liberty of ordering you a very special treat. A champagne breakfast with music. A girl appears at the door. She's got long blonde hair and is wearing a white Grecian tunic, and she's wheeling along a massive harp.
We're at the departure gate at Heathrow. I look around for Noah. He's made his way to the desk and is in deep conversation with an air hostess who is crouching down and listening intently to him. "Noah," I call. The air hostess leads him back to me. "Sorry about that," I smile at her. The air hostess is gazing at me, transfixed. "I just want to say," she says in a rush, "that I heard about your little boy's ordeal, and I think you're all really brave." What the hell did Noah say? "And I think that paramedic should get a medal," she adds, her voice trembling. I look daggers at Noah, who returns my gaze serene and untroubled. We return to our seats, and I sit him firmly down next to me. "Look at your sticker book and do not move." I take out my BlackBerry and polish off a few emails. I've just agreed to an entire supplement on Arctic holidays when I pause. Something has attracted my attention. The top of a head behind a newspaper. A dark crest of hair. Long-fingered, bony hands turning a page. It's him. Lorcan. Sitting 5 yards away, a small travel bag at his feet. Don't tell me he's had the same idea as me. As he turns yet another page, looking calm and unruffled, I start to feel a burning anger. This is all his fault. He was the one who went blundering in. He caused all this. An elderly lady sitting next to him picks up on my glare and eyes me nervously. "I'm sorry," she says, "but is something wrong?" "Wrong?" says Lorcan. He catches sight of me and starts. "Oh, hello." I wait for him to add a fulsome, grovelling apology, but he seems to feel this greeting is enough. "Hello?" I echo. "Is that all you can say? Hello?" He puts his newspaper down and leans forward, his face suddenly intent. "Are you in touch with them? Because I have to talk to Ben, urgently. I have documents for him to sign. He's avoiding me." "Well, I'm in touch with Lottie, not Ben." He frowns and turns back to the paper. How can he read the paper? I feel deeply, mortally offended that he can concentrate on the sports pages when he's created such a mess. "Stop looking at that!" I leap up and grab it from his hands. "Stop it!" I crumple the paper up furiously and throw it on the floor. "Mummy!" says Noah in delighted shock. "Litterbug!" "What's the problem?" Lorcan asks. "I had sorted out the whole situation with Ben and my sister. You had to go barging in and wreck it." I can see the truth slowly dawning on his face. "You're blaming me." "Of course I'm blaming you. If you'd said nothing, they wouldn't be married." He shakes his head adamantly. "You thought you'd sorted it," he corrects me. "You thought you'd managed it. When you know Ben as well as I do, you'll realise that his mind flips direction like a fish." Noah has descended onto the floor and is making a hat out of Lorcan's newspaper. "Noah," I say without conviction, "don't do that." "My son," I add to Lorcan. "Hello," says Lorcan to Noah. "Nice hat. So, you never told me. What are you doing here exactly? Joining the happy couple, I assume? Do they know?" "Lottie asked me to go out there," I lie. "A little odd, asking your sister to join you on honeymoon. Isn't she having a good time?" "Actually, they're thinking of renewing their vows," I say in sudden inspiration. "Lottie wanted me there as a witness." I trail off as a growing hubbub attracts my attention. It's coming from the desk. 2 air hostesses are remonstrating with a man in a linen shirt and chinos who's trying to squash a suitcase into a hand baggage measuring stand. As he raises his voice angrily to answer, I realise it's familiar. It's Richard. "Sir, I'm afraid the case is clearly too big for the cabin." A woman from the airline is addressing him. "And it's too late to check it in now. Might I suggest you wait and catch a later flight?" A later flight?" Richard's voice erupts. "There aren't any other flights to this godforsaken place." To my astonishment, Richard vaults up so that he's resting on the high desk, his eyes level with the airline woman's. "The girl I love has tethered herself to another man. I was too slow off the mark, and I'll never forgive myself for that. But if I can do nothing else, I can tell her how I really feel." "Be that as it may, sir," she says, "your case is too big for the cabin. Could you step aside from the desk?" "Uncle Richard!" Noah has suddenly noticed him. "Are you coming on holiday with us?" Noah is consumed with joy. "Can we do wrestling? Can I sit next to you on the plane?" He throws himself at Richard's legs. Doesn't look like it, kiddo. Richard gives him a wry smile. Unless you can persuade this lady. This is your uncle? Noah's air stewardess friend springs into life. The uncle you were telling me about? This is Uncle Richard, confirms Noah happily. Margot! You've got to let this man on the plane. He saved his nephew's life. He's a brilliant man. Huh? Richard gapes at her. Don't be modest. Your nephew told me the whole story. Margot, you have no idea. This whole family, they've been through such a lot. Sir, let me take your boarding pass. I can see Richard's mind whirring in disbelief. He glances suspiciously at Noah, then at me. I pull an agonised face, trying to convey the message, just go with it. And you too, she turns gushingly to me. You must have been deeply affected by your little boy's ordeal. We take each day as it comes, I murmur vaguely. This seems to satisfy her, and she moves away. So, do you want to sit down? I say to Richard. I could get us a coffee or something. Why are you joining Lottie? He demands without moving. Is there a problem? They're renewing their vows, aren't they? Says Lorcan over his newspaper. Who's this? Richard reacts with instant suspicion. Richard, this is Lorcan, Ben's best friend. And you are? Says Lorcan politely. I'm the idiot who let her go. I thought she was, well, I don't know, starry-eyed. But now I can see the stars. I mean, who am I kidding? He sags in desolation. It's too late. They're married. They're not, I retort before I can stop myself. What? Richard and Lorcan both stare at me. I just mean they haven't, consummated it yet. So, technically, that means they could still get a legal annulment. The marriage would never have existed. Really? I can see a glimmer of hope rising on Richard's face. Oh, too much information, says Lorcan, and starts putting his papers away in his briefcase. Richard, I say at last, you know the phrase, too little too late? Well, you're more like too much too late. Flying halfway across the world, rushing to the airport, making romantic speeches all over the place. Why didn't you do any of this before? Richard doesn't answer the question, but stares at me glumly. You think I'm too late? That's a question I don't want to answer.
You spell my natural emotions. It makes me feel like the hurt, and I'm hurt.
About half an hour into the flight, Richard comes up to the front where Noah and I are sitting in a row of 3. I haul Noah onto my lap and Richard slides in next to me. Noah's listening to my iPod. Richard lowers his voice. How's the divorce going? Have you signed the settlement yet? I open my mouth to answer honestly, then stop myself. I can see he's bracing himself for the rant. Why did I never notice people bracing themselves before? Oh, fine. I give him my new saccharine smile. All good, let's not talk about it. Richard looks taken aback. Great. So, any new men on the horizon? I'm telling myself furiously not to look at Lorcan, not even to think about Lorcan, but before I can stop them, my eyes have darted to him. Richard follows my gaze. What? He peers at me in astonishment. Him? No, I mean, yes. I feel flustered. Once. But he's on the other side. There aren't sides. Richard is surveying Lorcan with narrowed, suspicious eyes. So, is it a thing? No, it's not a thing. We just hooked up and then you unhooked. Exactly. He looks like a bundle of laughs, says Richard. I'm being sarcastic, he adds after a pause. Yeah, I nod. Got that. Lorcan looks up and raises his eyebrows. The next minute he's unbuckling his seatbelt and coming over to where we're sitting. I need to talk to you. My heart jumps in trepidation. Right, okay, but maybe this isn't the place. Both of you, he cuts across me. I'm flying out to Ikanos for good reason. I have some important business to discuss with Ben. He needs to be focused. So if you're planning to yell at him or beat him up, I have a request. Please leave it till our meeting is over. A minute later, Lorcan is buckling up his seatbelt next to me. We're rationalising the company, says Lorcan. Expanding one part of our business, refinancing another, jettisoning another. It all needs to be done. The paper industry these days... We saw off a bid for the company last year from Yuri Zernikov. Wow! Yuri Zernikov is one of those guys who appears in the paper every other day with words like billionaire and oligarch attached to their names. He saw the estate where we operate on TV and his wife fell in love with it, Lorcan says dryly. They wanted to live there for a few weeks every year. What's wrong with Zernikov? I challenge him. Are you a snob? No, I'm not a snob. But I care about the company. A guy like Zernikov isn't interested in some two-bit paper company spoiling his view. He'd close down half the business, relocate the rest, ruin the community. He stops himself and exhales. Why does it matter so much to you? I say. It's not your company. Lorcan blinks. Ben's dad was an amazing guy. I just want to make things work out the way he would have wanted. Lorcan breaks off as the air hostess's voice comes over the sound system. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention? I regret to inform you that due to a medical emergency on board, the plane will be unable to land at Ikanos, as originally planned, but will be landing at our nearest available airport with full medical facilities, which at this moment is Sophia. Lorcan turns to me incredulously. Sophia? Bulgaria?
Turns out there are advantages to having a butler. The minute we say that we want a celebratory drink, Yorgos swings into action, securing us a corner table at the posh beach restaurant, complete with champagne on ice and special lobster canapes brought down from the main restaurant. And what are we celebrating? Well, we've won an open-air couples massage, first prize in a quiz we played this afternoon at the hotel. They do it on the beach in a special curtained arbour. After they've finished, they leave you alone for some private time. We're booked in an hour from now. I cannot wait. When shall we go and visit the guest house? Tomorrow? I ask. I'm half excited, half terrified about visiting the guest house. It's where we first met. It's where the fire happened, where I rescued all those people, where I became me. Tomorrow, Ben nods. You have to do cartwheels along the beach for me. I will, I smile at him. And you have to dive off that rock. And then we'll find that cave we used to go in. We're both hazy-eyed and smiling, lost in memories. You used to wear those tiny tie-dyed shorts, says Ben. They drove me wild. I brought them with me, I confess. His eyes light up. You angel. I grin wickedly back at him, feeling my desire rocket. How am I going to wait an hour? How can I fill the time? I'm going to let Fliss know how we're getting on. I reach for my phone.
There's nothing wrong with Sofia, Bulgaria. It's a great city. However, it's not where I want to be, standing at 6 p.m. in the evening waiting for my baggage at the carousel. We're being put up at the City Heights Hotel. Not bad, 4 stars. Great rooftop bar, as I remember. My phone beeps with a text. Guess what? We won a quiz, couples massage in an hour, then 2 hours of perfect privacy. I think this is it. What the hell has Nico been doing? Has he gone to sleep? I reach for my phone.
This is the perfect setting for a wedding night. I mean, our own private beach. How cool is that? We're in a secluded little cove that you reach from the main beach over stepping stones, and there's a do not disturb sign placed on a rock. Our 2 massage therapists led us there in a little procession. Now we're lying on a huge double massage bed, while Angelina and Carissa rub oil into our bodies. Finish, whispers Carissa. Now relax, take it easy. I watch through semi-closed eyes as Angelina and Carissa withdraw from our curtained enclosure. So, Ben's hand squeezes mine again. At last. Before I know it, he's straddling me, holding a small bottle of oil. He must have brought it along secretly. He thinks of everything. You like this? He asks. I'm tingling all over, I say. So am I. He leans in to kiss me. Something's wrong. Oh, I really am tingling. I push him away. My skin feels like it's crawling with insects. I'm all red, and I'm swelling up. What's in that oil? Not peanut oil. You know I'm allergic to peanuts. It's just oil. Ben seems evasive. I don't know what's in it. You must do. You must have looked at the label when you bought it. I didn't buy it. Nico gave it to me. Compliments of the hotel. And you didn't check, even though you know I'm allergic. I'd forgotten, okay? I can't remember every tiny little thing. I hardly think your wife's allergy is every tiny little thing, I say furiously, feeling an uncharacteristic urge to hit him. It was all going so brilliantly. For a while we just sit there in stony misery. My flesh is still swollen and vivid red. I must look like an overgrown glacé cherry. A tear rolls down my cheek. Then another. He hasn't even asked me if my allergy is dangerous. He isn't exactly concerned. The first time Richard saw me react to peanuts, he wanted to drive me to A&E right then. Lottie? Ben's voice makes me jump a mile with guilt. How can I be thinking about my ex-boyfriend when I'm on my honeymoon? Yes? I turn quickly in case he guessed my thoughts. I'm sorry. Ben spreads his hands. Maybe it's fate, I say, not really meaning it, but Ben seizes on this idea. Maybe you're right. Think about it, Lottie. We're going back to the guest house tomorrow. We're returning to the place we first got it together. Maybe that's where we're meant to consummate our marriage. No peanut oil, no butlers, no harps, just us.
Everything has backfired and I'm bone-weary now, and I'm surrounded by Bulgarian prostitutes. Well, OK, they may not all be Bulgarian prostitutes. I do another sweep of the hotel bar. Some may be Bulgarian glamour models. Some may even be business types. The light in here is dim, but it's glinting off all the diamonds and teeth and Louis Vuitton buckles on show. This bar is fairly bling too, with a narrow wraparound swimming pool tiled in black, which all the beautiful people / glamour models are regarding with disdain. Unlike Noah, who is hopping up and down, demanding to be allowed in. Let him swim in his underpants, says Lorcan. Why not? Eagerly, Noah starts to strip off. A moment later, he lands in a bomb with the most almighty splash. Water showers onto a nearby blonde in a mini-dress who recoils in horror. So sorry, I call over cheerfully. Occupational hazard of drinking next to a swimming pool. Richard enters the bar. Hi, he greets us, and sinks onto a banquette. Heard from Lottie again? Yes, and the good news is they still haven't got it together, I say. Allergic mishap. They used peanut oil or something on Lottie, and she swelled up. Peanut oil? Richard looks up, suddenly concerned. Well, is she okay? Did they call a doctor? I think she's fine, really. Richard reaches for the bar menu. On the front it reads Delectable Bulgarian Specialities. He closes it. I think I'll turn in. See you in the morning. Poor guy, says Lorcan. He really loves her. We watch Noah splashing around. Nice kid, says Lorcan. Bright, well balanced. I can't help smiling at the compliment. He seems very happy. Was custody amicable? At the word custody, I feel my heart start to pound, ready for battle. I have speeches lined up in my head, long, erudite, scathing speeches. Also, I want to punch someone. You haven't suffered, Lorcan adds. Not at all. From nowhere, I've mustered the most relaxed, serene smile. Actually, it's all been very easy and straightforward and quick, very quick. And how do you get on with his new partner? Love her. And does Noah? It's like one big happy family. As Lorcan summons a waiter, I eat a couple of nuts and try to come up with more divorce-related lies. We all play table tennis together. Daniel's naming his new baby after me. I don't like this game anymore. My inner good fairy is losing her glow. I lied. Daniel is the biggest nightmare that any divorced wife had to put up with, and I'm bitter, OK? I'm bitter. Just saying it is a relief. My bones are bitter, my heart's bitter, my blood is bitter. Wait, you've had sex with me. You know I'm bitter. There's no way he couldn't have picked that up from our night together. I was fairly tense. I think I swore a lot. I wondered. Lorcan tilts his head affirmatively. The thing is, I rub my nose hard, I feel scalded inside, like third-degree burns, but no one can see them. Lorcan winces, but doesn't reply. A divorce is like a controlled explosion. Everyone on the outside is okay. Lorcan nods vigorously. Don't you hate those people, telling you not to think about it? Yes, I nod in recognition. You're lucky you didn't have kids. Not really. There's an acerbic edge to his voice I hadn't heard before. We couldn't, he adds. I couldn't. He takes a deep gulp of whiskey. I'm so shocked I don't know what to say. I'm sorry, I falter at last. It's fine. I recognise his tone. I use it myself. It isn't fine. It just is. For a while, we're silent. The thing is, I exhale, I just want to save my sister from the same kind of hurt that we've both experienced. That's all. That's why I'm here. Noah comes pattering up again, his feet leaving wet marks in the deep grey carpet. He snuggles up to my knee, and at once I feel myself lighten. You're a good mother, Lorcan says, so matter-of-factly that I wonder if I misheard. And you're like a mother to Lottie too, I'm guessing. I nod. Our own mother didn't do a great job. I've always had to watch out for her. I look up, suddenly wanting to hear his true opinion. Do you understand what I'm doing? Which bit? All of it. This. Trying to save my sister from the biggest mistake of her life. Am I right? Or am I insane? Lorcan is silent for a while. I think you're very loyal and very protective, and I respect you for that. And yes, you're insane. Shut up, I shove him. You asked. He shoves me back. And I feel a tiny electric dart, coupled with a flashback to our night together. It's so graphic, I gasp. Looking at the way Lorcan's mouth is tightening, I think he's remembering exactly the same bit. My skin has started to prickle in a mixture of memory and anticipation. Here we are, the two of us, in a hotel. Beside me, Noah is half asleep on the banquette seat. Lorcan's hand keeps brushing against mine. I summon a waiter and scribble a signature on our bill, then hoist Noah into my arms and wait for Lorcan to join us. As we walk out of the bar, Lorcan holds out his arms. I'll hold Noah if you like. He looks heavy. Well, okay. We reach our suite and Lorcan carries Noah straight to his bed. He's so sound asleep he doesn't stir. I turn off Noah's light and head to the door, and for a moment Lorcan and I stand there together, for all the world like two parents. So, says Lorcan at last, and a luscious anticipation starts to grow within me again. Drink, I say, not because I really want one, but to prolong the moment still further. This suite is the perfect setting, what with all the smoky mirrors and soft sensual rugs and the open fire flickering in the grate. I wonder what Ben and Lottie are up to, Lorcan says. Presumably not. He shrugs, significantly. Poor guys. Whatever you think, it's the worst luck for them. I guess, I say, non-committally. Not so much luck. I let the word trail in the air. What do you mean? I've been in charge of the whole thing. Lorcan looks taken aback. I have an agent helping me on the ground. I issue commands, he carries them out. We've been acting as a team. We've messed with their beds, spiked their drinks. He stalks them everywhere they go. Then there was the peanut oil massage. I'm waiting for him to say how brilliant I am, but he looks stunned. Are you nuts, woman? Are you out of your mind? What if she'd had an extreme reaction to the oil and died? She didn't. But you're happy for her to spend a night in pain? There's silence. The erotic atmosphere has disintegrated. I can't find the phrases to rebut Lorcan. They're in my brain somewhere, but I'm feeling slow and a little dazed. You suffer a painful divorce, so you rush out and decide to save your sister from the same fate by derailing her honeymoon. It's her life. Hers. Lorcan walks over to the door, then pauses. He stares at me for a moment, his expression unreadable. I know you've had a lot of pain in your life that you want to protect Lottie from, but this is wrong. And you know it, Fliss.
I don't quite know how to react. Here we are, back at the guest house, and it's just as it was. Kind of. I'm standing on the wooden jetty in the morning sun, and I can just glimpse the guest house far above from where I'm standing. I can see the familiar, dusty ochre stone and a couple of windows. Ben joins me and I take his hand. "What shall we do first?" I ask softly. "I need some coffee," says Ben firmly. "And I want to see the guest house, don't you?" "Of course." I'm not as fit as I thought I was, and 113 steps is a lot of steps. I find myself grabbing onto the handrail and using it to haul myself upwards. The sun is starting to glare down, so I'm avoiding looking upwards. But as we near the top, I glance up and blink in surprise. There's a figure silhouetted against the top of the cliff. A girl. "Hello there," she calls down in an English accent. "Are you guests?" She's a stunning girl, I realise as I get higher. Suddenly Ben calls out in surprise. "Sarah!"
Lorcan is savagely buttering a piece of toast, and I'm crumbling a croissant. "Morning, everyone." I look up to see Richard approaching the table. He looks about as cheery as the rest of us. A waitress approaches with a colouring book for Noah, and he accepts it with delight. "You can draw your mummy or daddy," she suggests, producing a box of crayons. "My daddy isn't here," explains Noah politely. "Neither of them is my daddy." "It's a business trip," I say, smiling quickly. "My daddy lives in London," says Noah chattily, "but he's moving to Hollywood. He's going to live next to a movie star." As soon as the waitress has moved away, I turn to Noah, trying to hide my agitation. "Noah, sweetheart, do you remember what we said about telling the truth?" "Yes," he says, equably. "So why did you say that Daddy's moving to Hollywood?" I'm losing my cool, but I can't help it. "You can't say things like that, Noah. People will believe you." "But it's true. Look, here's his address. It says Beverly Hills. Daddy says that's the same as Hollywood. Trudy has a job there now." Noah reaches into his pocket and produces a slip of paper. I stare at it in disbelief. It's in Daniel's writing. New address: Daniel Phipps and Trudy Vanderveer, 5406 Aubrey Road, Beverly Hills, California, 90210. Something strange is happening to me. An unfamiliar, scary sensation. A sound escapes from my lips, a kind of yelp, like a dog might make. "Fliss?" Lorcan takes me by the elbows. "Fliss, are you crying?" "No," I say at once. "I never cry in the daytime. It's my rule. I never ever cry." The word disintegrates. Daniel's moving to LA. He's leaving us. I can see people looking over from other tables. "You need somewhere private," says Lorcan swiftly. "Where shall we go?" I mutter, "They should have a crying room, like a smoking room." I've got it. Lorcan grabs my arm and leads me through the tables to the swimming pool area. "Steam room." He doesn't wait for a reply, but opens the glass door and pushes me inside. The air is dense with vapour, and there's a soft, herby scent. "Cry," says Lorcan. "No one's watching, no one can hear, Fliss. Cry." "Can't." I swallow hard. "Then tell me." "Daniel's moving to LA. "He didn't even tell me. It means it's over. Our family's... it's over." "Come here." Lorcan holds out his suited arm, pearlescent with steam, and finally, gratefully, I descend on it, in a volcano of sobs.
My mind is in a whirl. I don't know where to start. First of all, there's the guest house. How can it be so different from the way I remember? Everything is smaller and shabbier. And the owner, Arthur. How could I have been so impressed by him? He's a 70-something alcoholic lech. He's tried to grope me twice already. "Don't come back," he's saying, waving his roll-up in the air. "I tell all the young people, don't revisit." "Dad," Sarah rolls her eyes. "Enough already. They did come back. And I'm glad they did." She twinkles at Ben. "You were just in time. We've sold up. We're leaving next month." "We get old." Arthur's still on his rant. "Life gets in the way of dreams. That's the way it's always been. Anyone want a scotch?" Arthur ushers Ben into the recesses of the guest house, and I'm left with Sarah on the veranda. "It was an awesome summer." Sarah sips her coffee. "That was the year Big Bill was out here. Did you know him?" "Yes, I knew Big Bill." I unbend a little. "Did you hear about the fishing boat sinking?" She nods. "Dad told me about it. What with the fire, it was like the year of disasters. Even poor Ben got the flu." She draws her brown feet up onto the chair. "I got quite worried about him. He was delirious. I had to nurse him through the night. I sang him Joni Mitchell songs." She laughs. My brain is whirring in a panic. So that's what he was talking about the night he proposed. It was Sarah who nursed him through the flu. Sarah who sang to him. And he thinks it was me. He said the funniest things while he was delirious. He said I was his guardian angel. He kept saying it over and over. I was his guardian angel. "Who's your guardian angel?" Ben appears on the veranda holding a glass. "Don't you remember?" Sarah laughs. "When you had the flu and I nursed you through the night." She pokes him teasingly with her foot. Ben glances sharply at me, then back at Sarah, then at me again. But you nursed me, Lottie. I've remembered that night all my life." "I'm sorry." Sarah looks from face to face. "It's not a big deal." I sip my tepid coffee, trembling a little. I can't believe my stupid white lie came out. "So, you're selling up?" I say to Sarah. "Yeah," Sarah nods. "To be honest, business was never that great after the fire. I don't know how Dad has limped on for so long." "The fire was terrible," I chime in, glad to move on to a subject I can talk about. I'm hoping someone will mention the way I brilliantly took command and saved lots of lives. "It was a faulty cooker or something, wasn't it?" says Ben. "Oh no," Sarah shakes her head. "That's what they thought at first, but then they worked out it was someone's candles. You know, in a bedroom, scented candles." She glances at her watch. "Oh, excuse me." As she disappears, Ben takes a sip of scotch. "What's wrong?" He frowns. "Lottie? Are you okay?" "It was me," I whisper at last. "I always had scented candles in my bedroom. Remember? All my candles? No one else had scented candles." All these years I've been cherishing the wrong memory. I could have killed someone. I could have killed lots of people. I'm not the woman I thought I was. I give a sudden little sob. "Should I tell them? Should I confess everything?" "For God's sake, Lottie," says Ben. "Of course you shouldn't. Get over it. It was 15 years ago. No one cares." I'm realising an awful truth. I'm basing my whole life on this guy sitting in front of me. This guy with his charming smile and easy manner, who suddenly seems alien and unfamiliar, and just wrong, like a guest bedroom in someone else's house. Not only do I not know him, I don't understand him, and I'm afraid I don't much like him. I don't like my husband.
You spell my natural emotions. It makes me feel like the hurt, and I'm hurt.
I don't like my husband. It's like a clanging in my ears, a death knell. I have made a monumental, humongous, terrifying mistake. I have an instinctive, desperate longing for Fliss, but at the same time I realise I can never, never admit this to her. I'll have to stay married to Ben and pretend everything's okay till the end of my days. I feel homesick. Homesick for Richard. I feel as though when we split up, he wrenched a bit of my heart out. My whole body's throbbing with the pain, and it's nowhere near healing. I miss him. I miss his humour. I miss the feel of him in bed. I miss catching his eye at a party and knowing we're thinking the same thing. I miss his voice and his kisses. And I'm married to someone else. It's nearly an hour before I move. I jump down from the rock, dust myself off and head swiftly towards the guest house. Ben didn't bother trying to find me to see if I was all right, I note. I see them before they see me. Ben is sitting close to Sarah on the veranda, his hand curled around her shoulders and playing lightly with her strap. It's so obvious what's been going on, I feel like screaming. I creep towards the guest house, staying silent as a cat. Kiss, I'm willing them. Kiss. Confirm what I secretly believe. Sarah's laughing at something Ben is saying and he's playing with her hair now, and they've got that intense, coupley look going on, and... Houston, we have touchdown. Their lips have fixed together. I march towards the veranda, feeling like a soap opera actress who's slightly late for her cue. How could you? They leap apart. Ben, we need to talk. Yes. Sarah tactfully disappears into the guest house and I join Ben on the veranda. It's difficult to say this. I blink back tears. But I think our marriage was too quick. I think we rushed. And I blame myself. I'd only recently come out of a relationship. It was too soon. I spread my hands. My bad. Sorry. No, says Ben at once. My bad. There's silence as I take his words in. So we both think it was a mistake. Shall we tell Yorgo to cancel the honeymoon album then? I give a snort of almost painful laughter. I feel strangely detached. This is surreal. My marriage is over before it's begun. I look at him properly. Was this marriage ever real to you? Oh, I don't know. He winces. Nothing's felt real to me these last few years. My dad dying, the company. I think I need to sort this out. He bangs his head with his fist. It wasn't real for me either. It was like a fantasy. I was in such a bad place and you pitched up and you look so hot. Ben looks at his phone. I have to go back to the hotel. I have this meeting with Yuri Zernikov. He's sailed here especially to see me. Wow. I know. He puffs himself out a bit. I want to sell. It makes sense. Lorcan thinks I shouldn't, which makes it an even better reason to do it. For a while I'm silent. I might be keeping it together in front of Ben, but inside I feel battered by everything. Everything I thought is upside down. My marriage is over. I started the fire. Fail, fail, fail. I sit there, my entire body twisted in tension. I feel like my brain is a confused, whirling cloud with only a few tiny rays of clarity. The thing is, Ben is very hot, and maybe it would help me briefly forget how I nearly killed 20 innocent students. Ben turns to me with a new glint in his eye. Just had an idea, he says. Me too, actually. First and final time. My thoughts exactly. Back at the hotel? Sounds good. I nod, feeling a tingle of excitement rise through me, like a bit of comfort in this whole sorry mess.
We're sitting in Sophia Airport. Lorcan, Richard, Noah and me. I've never felt so chastened in my life. Finally, I can see the light. This whole stupid farce was about Daniel and me. I was looking at the world through skewed glasses, and Lottie was the innocent victim. My phone beeps. It's Lottie. I stare at the phone in shock. She started the fire. The fire that changed her life. I can't help exclaiming out loud. And Richard looks up. What? Lottie started the fire, I say succinctly. To my satisfaction, he understands instantly, as I knew he would. You're kidding! His face drops. I know. But that's huge. Is she okay? She says so. I gesture at the phone, but he shakes his head resolutely. She'll be in a real state. His expression changes to a kind of protective anger. Does this Ben realise? Will he look after her?
I can hardly believe it's true. Our hotel suite is empty. No staff milling around, no butlers, no harps. We arrived back at the hotel and came straight up here. Neither of us said a word. I'm blocking everything else out right now. The only thing I'm focusing on is that insistent pulse inside me I've been feeling ever since I clapped eyes on Ben in that restaurant. I want him. He wants me. We deserve this. Did you put up the do not disturb? I murmur as his lips find my neck. Of course. And lock the door? Am I stupid? So this is really happening. My hands run down his back. God, I fancy this man. And I know he's a flake. I know he'll be on to Sarah or even some other girl tomorrow. But for now, I have never wanted anyone so much in my whole entire life. Madame? A drink? What the hell? Yorgo is standing a metre away, holding a silver salver bearing a bottle of wine and several glasses. Ben finally explodes. Can't you read? Can't you see what we're doing? Have you heard of the concept of privacy? Yorgo is speechless. He takes a step forward and nervously proffers the silver salver. Fine. Ben seems to have reached the end of his tether. Stay there. Watch. What? I stare at him. He's not going to leave us alone. Well, then he can watch us. We're consummating our marriage, he adds over his shoulder to Yorgo. Should be fun. Ben? Take no notice of the butler, Ben says fiercely. Pretend he's a pillar. I shoot a glance at Yorgo. He's put one hand over his eyes, but is still holding out the salver. Mr. Parr! The familiar tones of Nico. He glided into the room so smoothly that I didn't even notice him arriving. But here he is. He holds out an envelope to Ben. A message from Mr. Zernikoff? Zernikoff? Ben swivels round. What does he say? He tears the envelope open. OK, I have to go. You're going? I stare at Ben. You can't go. Ben ignores me and heads off to the dressing area. Where's Nico? I intend to give him a piece of my mind. But to my surprise, he's standing in the corner whispering into his phone. They have stopped. I assure you they're apart. Who's he talking to? Nico gasps as I neatly relieve him of his phone. I clamp it to my ear. Fliss?
Hi, Lottie. I manage, but my voice has stopped working. It was you. Her voice is lacerating. You've been trying to stop Ben and me getting it together, haven't you? You were behind the butlers and the single beds and the peanut oil. Who else would know about peanut oil but you? It's my honeymoon. Her voice rises to a shriek of anguish and fury. My honeymoon. And you ruined it. Lottie, listen, I gulp. I thought I was doing it for the best. Doing it for the best, she cries. Doing it for the best. I know you'll probably never, ever forgive me, I speak rapidly, but you were going to try for a honeymoon baby, and I was so afraid it would be a mistake, and I know what it's like on the other side. post-divorce. It's absolutely miserable. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just thought that you might not be over Richard yet and that you might find Ben wasn't the man for you, and I thought you might suddenly regret marrying him. But I was wrong, obviously. Please, please, forgive me. Lottie?
I hate her. Why is she always right? I want to tell her that Ben isn't the man for me, and I'm not over Richard, and I've never felt so miserable in all my life. But still, I can't let her off the hook. Leave me alone, I say, a catch in my throat. Just leave me alone forever. I hang up. My mind is like a hurricane. My marriage to Ben is a non-starter. He couldn't even see our consummation through. Fliss is an interfering cow. I still miss Richard. I started the fire.
Richard left us at the airport, claiming he needs a bit more time to gather his thoughts. And now it seems like several hours before we're arriving at the Amber and running up the marble steps. Where will they be? Lorcan asks. I don't know, I riposte. In their suite? Through the glass doors at the back of the lobby, I can see the shimmering blue of the sea, and Noah has spotted it too. The sea! The sea! He wrenches at my hand. Come on, the sea! I know, darling, I rein him back. In a minute. Fliss? Felicity? I wheel round to see a familiar plump figure hurrying through the lobby on patent shoes. Nico, I say, trying to keep my chin up. Hi there. Where's my sister? Where's Ben? They are out. Nico shrugs. Your sister, she is beside herself with rage. Mr. Parr is meeting with Mr. Zernikoff now. Lorcan's face drains of colour. He's selling the company. We agreed he wasn't going to take that meeting. Why else am I here with a refinancing agreement in my briefcase? Why else have I chased him halfway across Europe? Zernikoff will fleece him. The stupid fool! Something about his reaction piques me. He keeps telling me to calm down about Lottie, but now he goes berserk about a company which isn't even his. If you ask me, you're far too wrapped up in this company, and Ben feels bitter about it, and it's a toxic situation which can't end well. He doesn't feel bitter. Lorcan looks absolutely incredulous. Ben needs me on board. I'll see you later, he says abruptly and strides away before I can reply. I look affectionately down at Noah. Now can I go swimming, he says. Now can I? After half an hour splashing with Noah in the turquoise Aegean waves, all's right with the world. The late afternoon sun is baking my shoulders, and my mouth is salty from the surf. I'm a shark. Noah is advancing on me through the shallows. Mummy, I'm a splashing shark. We both tumble down onto the soft sandy floor of the sea. I hear something that sounds like my name. I turn instinctively and see Lorcan standing at the water's edge, incongruous in his business suit. I have something to say to you, he shouts, indistinctly. Can't hear. Fliss, I'm swimming. Some emotion seems to be gathering in Lorcan's face. With an abrupt movement, he dumps his briefcase on the sand and marches into the shallows, still in his shoes and suit. He strides briskly through the waves until he reaches Noah and me, then stops. I have something to say to you. He glowers at me. Go on, then. There is a long, long silence. Apart from the noise of waves and beach chatter and the cry of a gull. I think I'm going to have to do this for him. Let me guess, I say gently. In no particular order, you realise I was right. You're wondering what you're doing here, chasing after Ben when he's betraying everything you hold dear. You're suddenly looking at your life in a different way and thinking that things need to change. I pause. And you wish you'd brought your swimming trunks. A tiny muscle is working in Lorcan's cheek. Close, he says at last, but you missed out a couple. He takes a step through the sea, the water washing around his legs. No one's ever understood things like you. No one's ever challenged me like you. And you're right. Dupré Sanders is not my company. Maybe I wish it was, but it's not. If Ben really wants to sell, he should sell. Zernikoff will close the whole operation down within 6 months, but so be it. Nothing lasts forever. Won't you feel bitter if that happens? I can't help pushing him. Maybe, for a while, but even bitterness fades eventually. We both have to believe that, don't we? He meets my eyes.
Mr. and Mrs. Parr, just in time for the gala ceremony. We were seized by Nico. Congratulations! We have voted you Happy Couple of the Week. We have prizes and party in your honour. There was nothing we could do to escape. Now we're milling around with about 20 other guests from the hotel, drinking cocktails and listening to a band play Some Enchanted Evening. Any minute we're going to have to go up to the platform and receive the Happy Couple of the Week trophy. Nico mounts the stage. Welcome, he says. We're delighted to see you at our cocktail and presentation event. Just as Aphrodite is the goddess of love, so the amber is the home of love. And tonight we celebrate a very special couple. They're here on their honeymoon and have won our Happy Couple of the Week award, Ben and Lottie Parr. Applause breaks out around us and Ben gives me a nudge. Go on. I'm going, I say bad-temperedly. I make my way over the sand to the platform and step up, squinting a little as the spotlight hits my eyes. Congratulations, dear lady, exclaims Nico as he hands me a large silver trophy in the shape of a heart. Let me give you both your crowns. The audience claps again and I give a rictus smile into the lights. This is hideous. A trophy, a crown and a sash. I feel like a beauty queen without the beauty. A few words from our happy couple. Nico passes the microphone to Ben, who promptly passes it to me. Hello, everybody. My voice booms out. When Ben first proposed, I had no idea that I would end up so very happy. Suddenly, with no warning, a tear snakes down my face. I can't help it. When I look back to myself in that restaurant, elatedly agreeing to marry Ben, it's like looking at a different person. 2 more tears are rolling down my face. I'm hoping they'll play as tears of joy. What a delightful, heavenly time we've had, I add, wiping my face. What a wonderful, idyllic time. It's been perfect in every way, and we couldn't be happier. I break off mid-flow, as my eye is caught by a trio of silhouetted figures making their way up the beach from the sea. They're all wrapped in towels, but even so... Aunt Lottie! Cries the smallest towelled figure, suddenly spotting me. Aunt Lottie, you've got a crown on!
This was not how I was planning to let Lottie know that I was here on Mykonos. Fliss! Nico speaks before I can marshal my thoughts. And here we have the sister of the happy couple. He addresses the audience. May I introduce Felicity Graveney, editor of Pincher Travel Review. She is here to give the hotel a special 5-star review. He beams delightedly. As you can see, she has been sampling the delights of the Aegean Sea. Now let us have the whole family on stage. He's bustling Lorcan, Noah and me onto the platform. What the hell are you doing here? Lottie's eyes are dark with anger as she turns to face me. Smile, everybody, calls out the photographer. Face this way. I have to get myself together. I have to apologise. OK, listen. I begin rapidly as the flash almost blinds me. I'm so sorry, Lottie. I didn't mean to ruin your honeymoon. I only wanted to... I don't know, look after you. But I realise I've got to stop. You're an adult and you have your own life, and I made a huge mistake, and I just hope you can forgive me. And you make a brilliant couple. I turn to Ben. Hello, Ben. Nice to meet you. I'm Fliss, your sister-in-law. I lift a hand awkwardly. I expect we'll be meeting at lots of family Christmases or whatever. How could you? The peanut oil! I was in agony! I know, I gulp. I don't know what got into me. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to protect you. You always try to protect me. You're not my mother. I know I'm not. There's a sudden shake to my voice. I know that. I meet eyes with Lottie, and suddenly it's as though a silent, sisters-only set of memories is transmitting between us. Our mother, our life, why we are who we are. And big smiles, everyone. The photographer waves his arms. Look this way. Hey, Aunt Lottie, I have a question, Noah says chattily. Have you put the sausage in the cupcake? What? She says, as though stung. Does he mean... She breaks off. She's staring at a figure, a man, coming over the beach towards us, with an unmistakable, heavy, sure-footed gait.
It's Richard. Here. Not zillions of miles away, leading a completely new life in which he's forgotten I exist. But here, on Ikinos, walking towards me over the beach. I'm shaking all over as he draws near. The last time I saw him was in that restaurant, telling him I didn't accept his non-existent proposal. That seems like 1,000,000 years ago. How did he even know where I was? Lottie, he says, and his voice is as deep and comforting as ever. I know you're... He seems to have difficulty saying the word. Married. I know you're married. And I wish you every happiness with that. But I just thought you should know something. You didn't start the fire. What? I peer at him, unable to process his words. Fliss told me that you thought you'd started the fire. I knew you'd be devastated, and I couldn't believe it was true. So I went to find out the truth. You went to the guest house, I say disbelievingly. I talked to your friend Arthur, Richard nods. I made him get out the original police reports. The fire didn't start in your room. It was over the kitchen. You went to the guest house. You went through the police reports. You did all that. For me. Of course, says Richard as though it's obvious. Even though I'm married to someone else. Of course, says Richard. Why? Because I love you, he says matter-of-factly.
The whole place is silent. Lottie's staring at Richard, transfixed, her eyes huge. Her happy couple of the week sash is glimmering in the lights. She tears off her crown. I love you! Richard visibly jolts with shock, but he gestures at Ben. It was a mistake. She's almost sobbing now. It was all a mistake. And I was thinking about you all the time, but you'd gone to San Francisco. But now, here you are. She suddenly turns to me, her face tear-stained. Fliss, did you bring Richard here? Kind of, I say cautiously. Then I love you too. Lottie turns and leaps off the stage straight into Richard's arms, and the tightest embrace I've ever seen. I thought you were gone forever, she says into his shoulder. I couldn't bear it. I couldn't bear it either. He's looking warily at Ben. The only thing is, you're married. This is my moment. I leap down off the stage and tap Lottie hard. Lots, tell me, this is important. Have you... I glance at Noah. Have you put the sausage in the muffin?
What's the point in lying anymore? No, I say almost defiantly. We haven't done it. We're complete frauds. We're not a happy couple. In fact, we're not even a couple. Richard is gazing at me tensely. So you really haven't? Not once. My ear is pressed against his chest, and I can hear the familiar, soothing thump of his heartbeat. This is where I want to be forever. I've tuned out the rest of the world, although I'm dimly aware of the others' voices. You can get an annulment, Fliss keeps saying. Do you see, Lottie? This is brilliant. You can get an annulment.
Well, she was right about the sunsets. I have never seen anything as spectacular as this in my life. I look down at Noah's face, all rosy in the light, and I think, he'll be okay. He'll sort himself out. I'll sort myself out. It's all good. Richard and Lottie have gone for a walk down the beach, and Noah is skimming stones at the water's edge, so it's just Lorcan and me sitting on a low wall with our bare feet in the sand. I got you something, he says suddenly. You got me something? Well, it's not much. Hold on. He heads up the beach, and a few minutes later he comes back, holding a plant in a pot. A little olive tree. For your patio, he says, and I stare at him in disbelief. You bought that for me? Tears spring to my eyes. I can't remember the last time someone bought something for me. I don't have anything for you. You already gave me something. Clarity. He pauses. I thought I'd give you peace. He fingers the olive leaves. What's done is done. What's done is done. The words resonate. So, Lorcan reaches out and entwines his fingers in mine. So...
Sarah Alexander and Sophia Di Martino were reading Wedding Night by Sophie Kinsella. The abridger was Miranda Davis, and the producer was Gemma Jenkins.